What's up, wrestling card collectors? Welcome to another edition of WTCtv. I feel like it's a game showy vibe almost sometimes when I say that. I mean, does it sound game showy to you, Chuckster?
Yes, it does.
I gotta maybe go talk to Adrian about maybe doing a new intro for us or something. Maybe I could just dub it over. So that'd be kind of fun. But today we're gonna do a special episode today talking about food issued wrestling cards. Chuckster and I have been talking about this for a few weeks now, I think, a couple of weeks anyways now, and thought, you know what? We've never done an episode exclusively talking about food issue because there's been a lot of cool wrestling cards over the years. I mean, over many years now, decades even, of having some cool stuff that just became these premium items only found inside food related products. As we're going to find, there's a certain country where a lot of these things seem to come out of, and that country seems to love their wrestling cards and food. uh, what do you got there, Chucks, or anything?
Well, I guess if we want to start this off, the earliest we can find that we have recorded on WTC is back in 1979, and we started out with Rack's roast beef trading cards.
I mean, it's a loose connection there, a loose connection.
It is. It was released actually pack at a time at an event down in Tennessee. People that came in were given one pack per family, not per person, one pack per family. But they had a card in it that if you took to the restaurant, you got free fries.
Yep.
Kind of how I'm connecting that.
I mean, that set is already so hard to come by. You know, I know, David Peck, has made everybody very aware of that. Did a lot of research, had an amazing article. I think it was in PSA magazine or something like that, where it's very detailed talking about the history of this card set. It's already a hard enough to find card set or any card set. Can you imagine how much harder it must be to find that redemption card for French fries?
Oh my goodness, yes. And from what I can gather from this really great site that I check out called WTC, yeah, there was like 1,200 print run on this, 1,200 sets only. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's not a lot. And being as old as it is, I mean, back in 1979, I said, that's been around for a while. And even the Chuckster doesn't have this in his set. I don't one card out of this collection. So
that if the Chuckster and Paul from the Price Guide, those two guys don't have it in their sets, it's a hard card set to find.
Absolutely, it sure is. So, but it's got some really good old school wrestlers in it. I would love to have at least even just one card from it, just to say I have a piece of it. And it may happen one day. Who knows?
You never know. Maybe the Chuckster's the one out and about doing some flea market shopping or something like that, and comes across a whole box full of them. Who knows?
Oh yeah, exactly. I do that a lot. And I guess moving on down the line, I really wanted to get that one out of the way, because that's just been a big topic for a lot of collectors.
Yep.
But we're getting into a really interesting series of cards that I have been collecting for years. I've got tons of them, and I'm still looking for a ton more. And I'm referring to the WWF ice cream bar cards.
For 20 years, I mean, that stuff was released. Not every single year, but for 20 straight years, they had something being released every other year, or at least every year for a certain time frame. But yeah, there's pretty historic cards right now.
They actually were released by 3 different companies. They started in 1988 and they ended in 2008. They started out with Gold Bond, who ran from 88 to 92. Then Good Humor took over and ran from Good Humor ran from 93 to 2006. And then Unilever picked up until the end of it.
Yep.
Now, what's really neat about these cards is they mostly kept the same design until Unilever got a hold of them. When Good Humor and Good Humor and Gold Bond had them, they pretty much kept the same design. The only thing that looked a little different was the very first series of cards that come out. They all had yellow borders on them, but the first series had a red background. Everything else had a blue background from that point on. I guess the red really made a difference. There's a copy of the red and the blue design for anybody that interested in seeing how they panned out. These reds were the first series, and then everything else afterward had that yellow and blue background on it.
Yep.
And they lasted like that until Unilever got a hold of them, went into the full bleed type cards, which covered the whole card. There you go. You got one too. Awesome. Yep. So what I found out really interesting about these, because again, I've been collecting them for years. The first few years, they just released cards with the pictures and a little bio on them. Mm-hmm. Are blank with all the bios on the front with the card. But once they got up to about 91, 92, they started giving their cards sets names. They didn't really call them Series 1, Series 2, Series 3. It was just done by year, like, the 1988 series, 1999 series, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Well, when they got up to about 91, they started giving them names for several years up to about 95. And what I mean by that is, like, the very first one was like what they called the finishing moves. And as you can see on this card, it gives the finish, like the DDT.
Yep.
For snake. And then when you got into the next year, they had what they called catchphrases. And that whole year put out catchphrases like "There's the $1 Million Man. Everybody's got a price."
Yep.
And into what they called greatest matches, and they put down at the bottom what they felt the greatest match of that particular person was. Then comes two of my favorites: toughest opponents for that year, for the year 94, and then 95, my absolute favorite. I'm still chasing these, the new generation.
Yep.
And these are my favorite set of all of them. After this, then they continued on until Unilever took over with the other designs. They were released in ice cream bar cards, and to buy the when you bought an ice cream bar, they were actually down inserted in a box. Mm-hmm. And in the box, the card was like perforated inside the box. You had to open the box carefully and tear it out. I know this because I got so many of them on my lunch break from where I used to work. There was a little store up the street that carried them. I'd run up there every day and get one for lunch just so I could get the card. Or if anybody else got one, they'd bring it back and give me a card. So I accumulated quite a few.
And a lot of times there was no rhyme or reason to some of the packages you got, by the way. So there wasn't like an indication on the outside on some of those of what you got inside.
Exactly.
So sometimes you had like, there was just a regular advertisement for the ice cream bar. It's like that. And then it's, a collector card inside. That's all it would say. Some of them would have like little, I actually have an example. Some of them would have like pieces on it of a puzzle in some years where you can actually put the puzzle together. It's like that. Yeah. Like this one would be the Onto the Giant puzzle you can make. It's like that. And you had to get different ones. Didn't necessarily mean you had an Onto the Giant card inside or whatever kind of card inside. And I learned that even later on in the Unilever era, like the Dudley Boys. I have so many of these because I hit up my local the ice cream truck that would come around the neighborhood, and he carried them, and he ordered a case for me, the whole case. So I had a whole case of the ice cream bar. They were all Dudley Boys.
Oh man!
Every single one of that entire case was Dudley Boys. I was so disappointed.
Oh yeah, I guarantee you.
So there was no rhyme or reason. I don't know how that stuff was collated. I'm not sure how you were able to distinguish what was in what, if you could at all. I don't think you can. So it made the chase even harder.
Exactly. I've never been able to decipher them. And then for a while there, even on the side of the boxes, you would get the card inside. I have some of the boxes around here somewhere. I can't lay my hands on them right away. But on the side of the box, not only did you get the card inside, but the outside had a little stand up, like stand them up and
there was several years they did that, and other years they did the little puzzle piece, and sometimes they didn't have nothing on it, so just had a card inside.
Yeah, and so like I said, I've got quite a collection of these, but I'm always hunting them. I'll probably never finish because there's so many of them out there. But I'm always on the hunt for these whenever I pick them up. So these are fun.
Yeah, they are fun, and to add a level of chase to everything, there is a particular year they put those out where it's very hard to come by because they had a split. You
Yeah,
know which one I'm talking about.
year
2002.
yep,
Yeah.
2002, they put out the WWF cards on their ice cream bar. And then about that time, WWF changed their name to the WWE because of the World Wildlife Federation. They wanted that WWF logo. So not to confuse them, they changed their name to WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. So they released the whole series of WWF cards. Then they re-released them with the WWE logo on it. So it's the exact same card, just different logo. And that was around the year 2002 where that happened.
On
As a matter of
on most of the cards, they're the exact same. There's a couple of different image variations on some of them. I know the Stone Cold one I think has a different image from WWF as opposed to the WWE version.
might be, I don't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
all. Well, that's a very possible thing. And I know, just being a figure collector for so many years too, they also did the same thing with a series of figures that I had at one time. They were all WWF, and then they turned around and released the WWE with the exact same thing, just changed the box. But this isn't a figure discussion, but I just thought that was an interesting little.
Do you think either one of them is, in your experience, do you think either one of them is harder to find than the other? Is WWE version harder than WWF or vice versa?
F is because I think they pulled a lot of them actually, because the store I was buying them at the time, the figures themselves, uh, it, you could find the WWE ones almost everywhere shortly after the fact, and it was rare to even find a WWF one after that. I luckily had both sets of them at the time.
Well, I'm talking about the cards.
But the cards, oh yeah, that well, there would be no way to tell until you cracked open the box. So yeah, I would guess it would be.
Well, I mean, you could look at the box. The box itself on the outside would have a WWE name, not a WWF name.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, yeah.
I'm just wondering which one, if because I don't know which one would be harder to find. I find them to both be kind of equally. I mean, harder to find. I don't know. Maybe the WWE one. I'm not sure. I don't know if they had enough time to put out a 2002 WWE and produce it as much as WWF ones. I don't know.
Possible. But I have found too, in collecting these over the years, the earlier sets from Gold Bond and Good Humor have been so much easier to find than the later Unilever ones. I don't know why that is. I don't know if Unilever was a less distributed company. I don't know, if they hit as many markets with that or not. Now the earlier stuff is a little more expensive, but they're also a little easier to track down. But you track down these Unilever cards, and it's just like pulling teeth trying to find these things.
Yeah,
They're
even trying to find clean images to use for the website was kind of difficult because there's not very much of it out there. Like I check every once in a while, and when we were talking about doing this episode, I went and checked again, and I say, "Oh, there's a Chris Jericho one that I hadn't seen before," and I grabbed that image.
Mhm.
But yeah, they're just you don't see them up very often. I can't even get images for most of them. So anybody who's watching and or listening to this, if you have any of the last couple of years, the Unilever years of ice cream cards, and you have images, love to have them just because we'd like to get that completed up on the website.
Exactly. I agree. And if anybody's got somebody they're ready to part with, see Chuck's.
See the Chuckster.
Especially the new generation was really looking for those. Moving on after the ice cream bars, then we get into 1986. Carnation released set of trading cards inside the cans of Carnation Instant Cocoa. Is that what it was called?
Yep, yep, yep.
And so, and they actually, according to WTC, from all the research we've done on there too, they actually are copyrighted on the back as 1985,
Yep.
but they didn't release them till 1986. So there's a little bit of kind of like the current AEW stuff. It was,
Yeah, because I think I even recently, I know like David Peck just got the first ever, I think a PSA 10 on the Road Warriors card, which is amazing.
exactly.
So congrats to him on that. But there was a talk in that thread when he about posting that, that there's some kind of discrepancy on what year, even though it has an 85 copyright date. But I mean, from all the research we've ever done on this over the years, again, was printed in 85, wasn't released until 86, thus the 1986 date on that. And everything, I mean, all the grading companies have been using that 86 copyright date. Again, not saying that they're right, because they're probably going out and getting information from like our site and other various resources, and we've all sort of just agreed that it was 86.
Yeah.
And I know that changes. We've discovered things over the years, like ECW figures are in the wrong, have the wrong releases on there. It should be a series 5, not a series 4, and that kind of stuff. But it's been kind of known as an 86 set.
Yes. And believe it or not, that's set number 2 Chuckster doesn't have.
What? The food issued stuff. Oh,
you're going to find several in this food product release that this old boy don't have, but which surprised me when I started doing research for this particular show. I really thought I had a lot more than I did, but I'm going to kind of preview a little bit of what I do have. After we got out of Carnation, then we had a company called Stewart in 1987. This is where you were talking about international cards.
yeah.
These came out. This is a set that came out of Canada, and they were part of like an instant win giveaway promotion that they were doing up in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
They're larger than your regular cards. They're like a 4x6, and they're really, to me, they're not really a card. They're more of a paper.
Yeah.
And they're flimsy, but we clock them as a card on our website, which I think is appropriate, because they have card images, and here is one of the Stewart ones.
Yep.
And there's front, and then of course your bio on the back.
Yep.
I do the entire set. And again, that was still WWF. They didn't hit WWE until about 2002.
What's interesting about stuff like this, these kind of products, by the way, we call them paper stock, is that they get put in that classification of paper stock because oftentimes advertisements for these types of things will say collector cards or trade. They even use the word trading cards. And we've seen this done in publications from like 1981, 1978, whatever it is, all these different magazines that have, and they'll say trading cards, collect them, swap them, that kind of thing. They use that word, that phrase, trading cards, so they get kind of lumped into the trading card category. And that's kind of, well, we got to archive them. And of course, if collectors and fans who use the site say, hey, these should be sort of archived and information needs to be put on there because I collect them just like I do trading cards, we'll put them up there. And we've been archiving this stuff for years. So, they are paper stock, but they should be treated as trading cards.
Exactly. Then once we move out of that, now we come back to the US, good old US, for another 1987 set. And this is kind of another one of my favorite sets. It's called the Circle K.
Oh yeah.
Circle K was, it still is. It's around. I got one about 5 miles from my house here. It's kind of like a little fast food, in and out with a gas station attached to it.
Mm.
They did a promotion where you got these cards and they had a little scratch off on the bottom of it. When you scratched off that code, it told you what prize you won. It could have been like a bottle of Coke, or it could have been a bag of chips. It's hard to tell what it was. Mm. But they're really hard to find with the scratch off still intact, because so many people scratched them off to get the prizes. And the scratch off was perforated, so they would tear that off and turn it in. Mm-hmm. And you can find the cards, but it's really hard to find them with the scratch offs. I do have the entire set with the scratch off, and here's the Hulk Hogan one from that set. So off this little bottom part. Oh, there you go. You got the scratch off part too. And mine hasn't been scratched off, so I could still probably claim a prize.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll honor it.
Yeah, exactly. And they do have the little Circle K logo up here in the corner too.
And so some of these things, as you'll find in food issued stuff, some of them will be numbered, some of them won't be numbered. Whereas in this case, these ones are numbered. It is a full 20 card set, I believe.
Yes.
And so you'll find that they're numbered, and then it has all the bio information in the back. It'll have like your second chance entry form in the back, a little scratch off area kind of thing. So it's a cool little card set that's got some great images on it. And I always love this set. I always love this set.
And the reason I like this set a lot too is it's kind of about the era that I really started watching wrestling. When Hogan was really the big thing, and that's when I really started getting into the wrestling was in the mid '80s. So that set was that's very nostalgic set for me. At the time, I didn't even know they existed. They came along into my collection years later, when I really started doing this as a full-time hobby.
Top of my head, I'm just thinking about something from this set, looking over the checklist right now. I'm wondering if in Savage's rookie card is going to be what, the 86? Is it 80? What's Savage's like first appearance from Topps products? Was it
80,
is he,
85?
is he in the 85 Topps?
I think he might be 87.
Or is he in the 85 OPG?
That's it. That's the
Okay.
85.
Now, if you notice, when he's on that, it's Savage with Elizabeth on it, correct?
Yes.
So everything prior to this set has Elizabeth always been on a card with Savage, where it's her card. They share a card because like she has her own card in the set. She's card number 18 in the set. It's just Elizabeth by herself.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
And I'm wondering if it's like, would that be considered her first card of her by herself?
I would have to say so.
Definitely an early one, that's for sure.
Because her and Randy were inseparable at the time. I mean, you didn't, when you bought anything with Savage, Elizabeth was included in it. So
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Just dawned on me. I was wondering.
These next couple of sets that we're looking at now, might have to get your help a little bit on, because the next few sets, once again, we're looking at strangers to my collection. There was a 87, 88 sets of what they call the Hostess Munchies. Weren't really stickers. Once again, we're going north of the border back into Canada. And these were found in bags of chips. They were wrapped in cellophane to keep the grease from the chips and everything from getting on the cards. Again, we're looking at these things as something I don't have in my collection. I can't even show you an image. I'm not really sure what they look like.
Well, we have, because we don't have the images linked up yet on the site. I have, some of them right here. They look, I don't want to undo them all, but they're kind of in these little tiny ones like this.
Okay.
So there's a full set inside here. I just don't want to open up. It's really nicely packaged like that, but it's a full set in here. The Munchies. I think these were the 88 ones because it features WrestleMania on it, I think.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure that's what that one was from the 88 set. But yeah, I mean, they're little tiny ones, real small sticker. Again, stickers always seem to kind of cross over, and from card collectors to sticker collectors, it seems to be kind of the same type of collector. And again, just kind of let people who use the website, we've always kind of let them decide what they want to have on the website to archive, and stickers is kind of that grayish area that card collectors like to try to just make it as a rookie card. I mean, I know we have stuff from like, what was it, last year when we had the 97 Panini stickers that all of a sudden got discovered and has, Rocky Maivia sticker, and that became like the flavor of the month kind of thing for a while, as I call it.
Exactly.
But people like card collectors, look at these as being part of their trading cards set. So, we archive them. And back in the days, I mean, you've been a long time user of WTC from the very beginning too. We used to separate this stuff. We had categories. We had like we have our national release stuff. We had regional type stuff. We had sticker category. We had a CCG, TCG category. We had a Japanese category. We kind of just had everything in its own little categories. And when we went and updated the website over the last year and a half or so, we said, you know what, we're just going to merge everything from 1988 goes into 1988.
Exactly. And it saved you from jumping back and forth from category to category and searching for everything is all more streamlined now. And you can, if it was from 86, you can just go to that 86 and peruse everything instead of just going to your regular cards, your Japanese cards, your gaming cards. You can get it all in one stop.
Yeah, the ones that I'm showing right here, these are definitely from 1988, and they feature WrestleMania 4.
Cool. The next set too, probably going to let you talk about a little bit more because I don't know a whole lot about these, but we're staying up in Canada for a while with the Quaker Dips cards.
The 88 and 89 set?
Yes.
Yeah, that first 88 set, I like that set better than the 89 set, to be honest with you. One, again, it's something with Canada. What's with Canada and all these food issued stuff, man? Like, they got to collect their stickers and cards of wrestling while they're eating their foods and all their snacks. I don't get it, you know. But they've produced some really cool, interesting cards throughout the years of these food issued premium stuff. It's really cool. I mean, Quaker Dips was no difference like that. The little bit different size, like 2 3/4 by 2 7/8 approximately on these things, or of paper quality type stuff. Or actually, they're not cardboard, I should say, not paper quality. Released by Quaker Dips. They just they're numbered. From the 88 set is numbered. That's the difference you can tell between the 88 and the 89. 89 ones are not numbered, but the 88 ones are numbered.
Oh, that's
Uh,
weird.
the backs are written in French and English, which is typical of wrestling cards that were produced in Canada. So like your OPG stuff that came out, that was top cyber related stuff, also written in French and English. And so all their other stuff was written in French and English as well. So you'd have a complete bio information on the back, the height and weight and a little short paragraph about them kind of stuff. And um, and then if you go to WTC's website, you can actually check out both of these sets. It links, image links are all there. And we even have for the 88 set, but not the 89 set, we have a link to the actual box that you could find certain cards in. So like for the Honey and Oats box would have like cards number 7, 1, and 13. And then the chocolate chip box would have like 14, 8, and 2. So you got
Not,
3 cards on every box.
and from what I understand, unlike other food products, these weren't inserted in the box. They were cutouts on the back of the
They're
box.
they're they're part of the box.
So you could actually see what cards you were getting when you purchased
Correct.
your box.
Yep.
They'd be inside, which is unusual, and that was a pretty cool thing. So you know which ones you needed, which ones you were going to get.
Yep, it's true, and so it made it very easy to identify what you needed. So, and back then you probably didn't know, unless you had all the different various flavors on the shelf right there, you probably didn't know what came with what, unless again, you happen to, hey, they have chocolate chip. I didn't know they had different cards on chocolate chip, um, but it was easy to tell.
Moving on, another one of my favorites, and this was back in my let's hit every bar in town kind of day. The 1988 Tag Team of the Year set by Borden's.
Yep.
We're back in the United States now, and these were in bags of chips, and actually little bags of popcorn too, because I would always get the munchies when I was out at the bars, and they that I was collecting these things, so they keep them stocked, and they were really smaller than normal sized cards, and they again were wrapped in cellophane so that they didn't get grease all over them. And I collected most of mine, and probably have several sets of them. And I pulled this one out in case, by chance, Ryan, you're watching. This one's for you.
Yeah.
Macho Man and Elizabeth. Very small card, but again, a really cool set. And on the back, it has WWF and Borden are the Tag Team of the Year.
Yeah.
Which this is a pretty cool set, and I've got several of these laying around here somewhere. But
they're approximately the same size as those Hostess munchies as well. So that's how you can tell. I mean, if you want to know what the sizes are, that's a good indication right there. But cool set. Again, look at it. It shows Elizabeth with Macho Man again.
Exactly, just what you were talking about a little earlier.
Yeah.
Now,
I love that set. It's a cool little set. I love it.
It is, yeah. And like I said, they were easy to come by, especially in our town, because everybody knew I collected them. So I was I was buying them up everywhere. So, but then after we moved out of them, then 1991, we head back up to Canada, and we check out the Swanson TV dinners, and you open them up, and you get a little cello pack with 2 wrestling cards in it, and they were again, the kind of old school cards, very colorful, very nice, a very small set, but had, I think there was 16 cards, 14, 16 cards in the set.
Something like that, yeah.
And they're very colorful, very nice cards.
12.
And they have on the front, here's the Savage Man again. And
yeah.
And then of course it gives a bio on the back with all of the stats of the performer. which is these are just a really sweet card, and they're made so well. They got nice card stock to them. They're just really bright, colorful cards. I really like those.
They remind me of like in the States, we had like Mother's Cookies. We had like the Nolan Ryan cards inside the Mother's Cookie bags. And they put like 2 or 3 cards or whatever it was inside of a little cellophane inside the bag. I think it was kind of similar to that with the 2 cards inside, Swanson Foods. And again, it's another card set that's not numbered, but again, it has bio information, like you said, in the back, also written in French and English. It's just a cool card set.
Exactly. And we're still back in that classic era, like the mid late 80s. And I just those characters to me were my entrance into the wrestling world. And so these cards hold a really special place here in my nostalgic memory here.
Now I know we go on the next one here. If we're ready to go to the next one, I think we should mention it just because we have it in our show notes. And I just love the way you tied it together. You put it on there and I go, Chuckster, it's not really a food issue. And what did you say to me? Because we're talking right now, folks, we're going to be talking a little bit here about what year, what are we talking about? What year is it again? It's the
1997.
1997 stridex cards. Okay. And I go, Chuckster, stridex, it's for acne. It's not food. And what did you say to me?
Well, after you eat all of these greasy chips, all of these carbs that you need, you're going to need that stridex. So, a food product.
So I guess there's a loose connection there. So
if I had known we were talking, then I'd have pulled out the samples. But I have all of those too. I think there's 6 cards in that set plus a checklist card. They're a lot smaller too. They're a little bigger than these, but they're the size of a stridex box. And most of mine I was working retail at the time, and of course most of the kids that I had working for me were high school or just out of high school and still using the product, and they would bring me in the cards from their stride. There you go, that's it.
So you have it on the front. Let me take out the sleeve here. You have it on the front. I can't believe we're talking about it. It's not even a food issue really, but in the back we have a bio. It's like that. Pretty cool.
Cards. I think the checklist card had like all the pay-per-views that was released that year, if I'm not mistaken.
And it has all the it does have all of this. Here's a checklist card right here.
Yes, that's the one I was talking about. Yeah.
And so the back of it, you're right, will have, because stridex was a major sponsor for WWF back in the day, so it made kind of sense they would have stridex, sponsored pay-per-views in the back.
Exactly.
So
again, another fun set. Food products are just so fun to collect because you never know where you're going to find them, and you don't know how long they're going to be around. So you start chasing really quick to try to snag up everything, and trying to find them on secondary market sometimes is just horrible. But yeah, I like I said, I wasn't going to mention them, but
I had to, because your comment on that and how you tied them together, it legit cracked me up when I messaged you about it.
Oh. So we're going to go on to another product from 1999, which would probably also, you would still need those stridex pads after is WCW/NWO Little Caesars lenticular cards. And they were like those little motion cards. When you moved them, they had little different things. There was 4 of them, and you got them whenever you bought a pizza from Little Caesars. And there's the 4 of them. I don't know how good that's coming out on the camera with the glare. But
yeah, you can see them. You can clearly see where they are. You got Goldberg, DDP there, Sting,
and Hollywood Hogan. Yeah, Sting, DDP, Berg, and Hollywood Hogan. And
it's not that difficult of a card set to find. They pop up quite often, I think, which tells you they probably produce a crap load of them. What was that?
They were released in the little cello packs too.
Yep.
So we got all 4 of those. That was our next food product. And do you have any more comments on the Little Caesars?
No, I mean, it's just in that era, it's kind of weird too. In that 1999 through 2001 era, we had 3 different lenticular styled type of card sets that came out during that time. the WCW one for because our food issue special we're talking about here. But you also had Artbox did two of them in '99 and 2001. They had the lenticular motion cards for both those years.
Mhm.
Just seemed to be kind of like, but only in that time frame. Like we didn't really do any other motion cards since then.
Right.
It's really
Yeah, I
weird.
don't. It was a thing for a while, and then it just kind of faded out. I haven't seen a lenticular card for ages. But then
What
we
else?
move on. Uh, um, it's been a few years down the road. We're going to get away from Canada. We're going to get away from the U.S. We're going to head on down to New Zealand. There was a place called Mad Butcher in New Zealand. Mad Butcher is actually a butcher shop in New England or in New Zealand, and these cards were part of a just part of a giveaway for a little contest that they were having. Um,
And here I
again,
am. Here I am speaking at a turn, thinking like '99 through 2001. That's it. No more lenticular cards. And then you pull this on us. This is
yeah,
lenticular card set too.
it is. I wasn't thinking of that, but we're going back to the small size, and yeah, we are lenticular. So that was the end of lenticulars for the 1999.
Yeah. No, because now I'm thinking my mind's going like I'm giving misinformation. I remember we had 2005 and a motion set that came out, which were lenticular card,
Right.
motion card. So scratch all that, folks. There's just been lenticular cards throughout the decades. Who knows when?
Hey, Chuckster screwed up.
No, we both did.
Anyway, here they're small again, like the other one, like those little chip ones, and
Yep.
they're again lenticular cards. Um, little, if almost unreadable bio on the back. I think it was about a 30 or 40 card set.
36.
36.
Yeah,
I
and,
knew it.
and broken down into categories too. You'll have a SmackDown set. ECW got the short end of the straw on that one. It's like that. It only got two cards in the set, then a bunch
Wow.
of Raw, and then you had special edition superstars.
I think I have all but two of the cards. I think I've got about all but two of them.
And do you have the binder that goes with it?
No, I don't have the binder.
Because there is a binder for it too.
Yeah, I knew there was. I just haven't been able to track it down yet. And actually, I was really surprised. I was kind of reading up on what Mad Butcher was. That's how I found out it was a butcher shop. And these were part of a promotion that they were doing. And evidently, the owner of the Mad Butcher, can't really pronounce his name, Peter Leitch, I believe is his name.
Okay.
They said he was really known for charitable organizations and fundraising work. That was his big thing. So I guess these cards may have been part of his his fundraisers for different charities.
I don't have these cards. And so I'm looking at stuff like special edition superstars. There's card number 34. It just says R Mysterio. It's all one word. I don't know if we have a typo on our site or if it's actually supposed to say Rey Mysterio. So I don't know if they changed some of the naming up a little bit. But that seems to be the only one. So maybe it's a typo on the checklist. We'll have to get that fixed and looked into.
I have all the cards, so I can go through them.
Sure. And then we'll need the image for that. I've never owned them. Is there anything that's on the card too that advertise Mad Butcher?
Let me look here and see. Okay, yeah, actually on the front, up in the upper right-hand corner, it has WWE, whatever the logo is. But then when you flip it to see the other photo, it has Mad Butcher.
Oh, excellent. Good to know.
And then on the back, once I can get my bifocals working good. Yes, it also has the Mad Butcher logo up here in the upper.
Can't see it. There you go. There we go.
Here in the upper where that little red.
I see it.
Mad Butcher. So I guess it's kind of relatable to a food product. I mean, it is a butcher shop. Butchers, they butcher foods.
Sure. And I imagine probably you came in there and you bought like a pound of beef, so like that. You probably got some cards or something.
Yeah, it's possible. I'm not sure how they were given away. But I just thought it was interesting, and I said it was really hard set to track down, but it's a really fun set. I really like it.
Well, anybody from that other side of the pond, not to be confused with the other pond, if you're from the New Zealand area, Australia area, you happen to come across this episode, you remember these cards and how they got distributed, please contact us. Let us know how they were actually distributed, and we'd love to get the information put on the checklist page.
Absolutely.
What else we got?
We'll into 2010. We're going to go south of the border down to Mexico. Here's another set of cards I don't have.
Whoa.
It's Sabritas, I think I'm pronouncing that right. Cheetos, bags of Cheetos. They had cards within those sets. I've seen images of these before. They're kind of cartoonish.
Okay.
They have that little Chiquitos tiger thing, you know, and
Yep.
all the wrestlers are kind of drawn like that with him on it, and I can't really describe it. It's hard to explain. But
Well, I
they're
know
more.
it's a 10-card set out of Mexico. It was the Sabritas is a brand under the PepsiCo brand, so it's under from like Pepsi and Frito-Lay products out of Mexico. So it features was it Chester Cheetos? It's a likeness of the wrestler kind of thing. And so the backs are not numbered, but do contain bioinformation of the wrestler, and they're just slightly shorter than a regular traditional trading card. They're about 2 inches by 3 inches with rounded corners. So I know we have images for them somewhere. I'll have to talk to David about that and see if he's going to be able to upload that soon. But we had images, including a back image. Maybe not all of them, but at least we had a few samples. I'm pretty sure. A lot of stuff from 2014 back, we had a lot of images for. Was very few things we were missing. So it's just a matter of trying to get those images from David when he has time to upload them so we can get them linked up. But we'll get them soon.
We're closing on final couple of sets that we have here. This next one was a really interesting find last year. I actually think Paul's the one that pointed me in the direction of these. I hadn't heard of them, but Hardee's and Carl's Jr., which is a fast food restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
It was a card game. I don't really consider them cards, but they kind of are because they call it a card game. But they're more in a pentagon shape than a square, and they have numbers on them. They have like a little gameplay thing. There you go, perfect.
Yeah, if we go to WTC, you'll be able to go and click on all of them. We have the images for all the sets because they had, I think it's 4 different. Look, as you can see, 4 different categories here, I believe, of different types. And it's kind of a little of a game like playing War. You know, it's kind of what it was. And then they had a little envelope you put them all in. And it was part of like I think the Happy Meals that you get. Like, think of like Happy Meals from McDonald's. You know, Carl's Jr. is a predominantly West Coast fast food place. As you go more back east, it's also known as Hardee's. So Carl's Jr. bought out Hardee's years and years ago, and sad to say, I used to work for Carl's Jr. back in my youth. And then so I kind of knew about them, but yeah, they have information's all there on the website telling you how that was played and how it's distributed. It's like that. But it's a fun little thing. It's out of cardboard. It's kind of collectory. So, Paul discovered it and decided that, hey, try to keep in sync with what he's got going on the site because we complement each other in that respect. You know what? We'll archive it and put it up there. Someone's doing the work. I mean, it was a lot of work for me to go and get all these images cropped and edited like that. And thank you for sending those to me, Chuckster. But getting that stuff all to look nice and presentable, that was quite a bit of work there.
What?
Cool little set, though.
Exactly.
What else we got?
Well, let's see. I wanted to show you this before we moved on. You had the little images of those cards, but they actually came on a sheet like this.
Yes.
And then they come in a little baggie with like a little game instructions, a little envelope for you to put them in once you punch them out. They're perforated. I obviously didn't break them apart, and then there's what the back of them looks like. So just a fun little thing, for the kids to play with, and for us old collectors to snag up and put in our collections.
Yeah, as if we don't have enough to collect already.
Yeah. Final product that I'm aware of, and this was brought to my attention last summer by our good friend Rich Belligan, because he's very, very well into the Japanese card market. Zima, the drink Zima.
God, I can't believe they still even made that.
Sponsoring New Japan Pro Wrestling. And Zima decided to attach cards to the bottlenecks of their cases of the Zima product. And they came in like an actual photo and an art card of each of the, there's 4 wrestlers, and they did a photo and an art card of each one of these. I think we have all of these on the site also.
I haven't, we have the checklist. I don't think we've done the actual images yet. You sent them to me. I have them from whatever you sent me. I just haven't gotten around to editing them. So you know what? By the time this actually airs, I'll probably have them done then. So.
Okay. And then
Cool
I
stuff.
wanted, whenever they were on the bottle, I'd like to show this. This is how they were attached to the bottles. They were in a little plastic bag with the little hoop that went around the back of the bottle, and then the card hung right there on the front. So when Rich sent them to me, they were still in these bags. I pulled them out, the images out of. But I kept the bags too, because that's a big part of it. Of course, it's got all the info in Japanese on the back of it. And
how many cards came in there? 1 card per bag?
I'm not. Yeah, it was 1 card per bag. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes. And there was a total of 8. Two of each one. 2 of each wrestler, an actual photo, and then an art card of each one of the 4 wrestlers.
So you had to hunt for them, for all 8 cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very cool. Yeah, because they have all information on the website too. There's actually what we grabbed, thanks to Rich, was not only did we have the the basic information, but we also found the press release for this particular card set. This union between Zima and New Japan Pro Wrestling. So it was we have the entire press release up there on the website too, in the information section, to help collectors get a better understanding of what this card set's from. Very cool. Very cool stuff.
And I'm out of card sets from food product. I'm sure.
So I mean, I'm sure there's probably a few out there maybe we didn't cover. And so if collectors out there, if you know of any other food issue stuff that we didn't talk about, bring it to our attention. It's probably, the thing is, when you run a website like this, Chuckster and I go through this website all the time, and it becomes very blended for us. Like, it's just all kind of a bleeding, every page just like blends together. It's like you kind of overlook things. So when you have someone who's new or doesn't look at the website as often, comes through like, hey, I saw you guys missed this card. So like, I can't believe we missed that. I mean, I just can't believe we missed it. I mean, we try to be as thorough as possible, but we get corrections from people. We welcome those corrections from people. So if you guys find anything on the website that is we didn't cover, let us know. Hell, if you find a food issued trading card set for wrestling cards that we don't have on the website, please let us know. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff out there we don't even know about, bootlegs and probably official stuff from different parts of the world. I'm sure. It's just always interesting to me, finding cool wrestling cards you never knew existed, and then finding out that it was associated with some sort of cross promotion with some food company, some drink company. And so, like you said, like, now I got to find it. Like, it just piques my interest as a collector to go and try and find this. And with the world being so small these days because of the internet, things become still a lot easier to come by, in a sense, as opposed to the way it was before. But it's still, there's things that just we don't know about, we don't see, because no one really reports it. And that's kind of what we try to do, is report that information to you. So if you know something, man, let us know.
Exactly. And I said, it's just a fun little corner niche of our hobby that's just not talked about enough. And I was just really anxious to get this information out there and talk about them, and kind of.
And you know what? And it's not done enough, I think, either.
Right.
I don't think there's I love to see more companies working together, trying to put out some cool collectibles. And it's a great way, a nice marketing ploy to get people to buy more product. That's why they do it, obviously. But it'd be a nice way to see, like, I mean, I don't know, I'd probably buy something just because, even though I don't even consume that product, just because it has trading cards on it.
Exactly. I'd like to. The ideal product to put a trading card in would be cereal.
Right. Right.
Cereal is a big seller. I know in our town, you can't. The shelves are always empty where the cereal is. And I mean, stick a card, wrap it in cello, stick it in there. And I'd buy it.
I'm sure a lot of guys out there probably buy it. I mean,
Gotta be other that would actually that would actually benefit from putting cards in. I think it's just a great idea. I'd like to see more of it. I don't know why companies stopped doing it. I'd love to see more of it come out. So
promote maybe latex can go out there and promote some safe sex and have trading cards and their packs of condoms or something. Who knows? I mean, there's all kinds of potential cross promoting. I mean, but in bags of cookies or what was that?
Val Venus card for those.
Val Venus card, yeah. There's all kinds of potential out there. Obviously it's all about money, but in today's day and age, with the way people can print their own stuff, it just seems like a no-brainer, man, to go out there and just kind of have some food issued type stuff. Be kind of cool. Although, yeah, I was going to say something, but it's going to be too nasty. We're not going to go there. That's an after dark episode with good old Zan. So, yeah, I got nothing else when it comes to the food issued stuff. So, collectors out there, again, let us know if we didn't cover something. Let us know we didn't cover. If you have something or know of a card set that was a food issued type stuff, let us know about that too. We'd love to get it added to the website so collectors are aware and know about it. Love to hear you guys' comments. What do you guys think about food issue type stuff? Is it stuff that you went after? Do you think it's stupid? Do you think it's cool? I mean, like to hear what you guys have to say.
Exactly.
But I got nothing else, man. What about you?
I'm good. We're ready to sign off.
All right, ready to sign off, man. Well, where can everybody find the legendary Chuckster at? I know you're just pretty much a Twitter guy when it comes to wrestling cards.
Just Twitter, at Chuckster on Twitter. That's where you're going to find me.
You got Chuckster's on there all the time. Just don't, if you're into recording AEW on Wednesday nights to watch it on Thursdays, please don't follow him on Wednesday nights because he talks about it on Wednesday nights. He does talk about, he'll tweet stuff like that, because don't bother him. Don't call him. You know who I'm talking about. Don't call him. But you can follow him on Twitter and see his live tweets when he's talking about stuff about AEW. But that is a religious night for him. So, and for us, you can find WTC stuff on WrestlingTradingCards.com. All of our social media is found at the bottom of every page of our website. I hope we don't have to expand anymore beyond like what we already have, but who knows? We might get Twitch, we might get, who knows? I don't know yet, but like, comment, share, subscribe. Love to have you subscribe. It's free, man. It's free. It doesn't cost you a dime to hit that subscribe button. Hope you enjoy the content. We'll just keep putting out more for you. We always will have Chuckster back because everybody loves the Chuckster. Everybody loves Chuckster. It's worth having. Watch the numbers go up because Chuckster's on.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We're out of here.
See ya.